Do you want to do some psychic spying? Got something in your mind that you want some clarity with? Let's find out. Right, so I'm going to do this in a longer format. This is going to be past, present, future, and it's going to be in the fully loaded version of one of these readings. If you want a fully loaded version, they are available. Find the link top of my profile. If you get it in before the 18th of January, you can have it at the sale price at 40. They're normally 50, and they're in the same day guaranteed recorded offer. So, right, so we're going to start with the past, excuse me, past spread. And we're going to see, you know, what was playing off in the background. Okay, what was going off in the lead up to where we are now, and then we'll do a present spread, and then we'll go on to the future and divine how it's gonna play out. Right, so let's go. Right, so Three of Pentacles. Pentacles relates to Earth, can mean money and finance, can mean non-financial wealth. That's what we're investing our time, efforts, energy in. Now, we got three characters here: landowner, builder, architect, all working together to build this beautiful cathedral. Different roles, different skill sets, same long-term vision. So I feel like there was somebody who was kind of on board, they were part of the collective, and they had that same long-term vision. The problem is, lovers in the reverse, okay? They lost the passion, they lost the spark, okay? So, because this isn't love-based, we're going for the fiery winged angel at the top there. So yeah, they lost some passion and spark. Two of Swords. Swords are where we think, words we use. So they're the person there blindfolded. Left path, right path, stick or twist. Problem is, because you've got blindfold on, you're not seeing the situation as it really is. That might be you. That might be you. Okay, we'll continue anyway. Right, okay, so King of Wands, Wands fire action. Court cards can be an energy within ourselves, can be the energy of somebody else around us. Kings are masculine energy, Queens are feminine energy. In tarot we talk about energy, not gender, so it can be a man, woman, somebody non-binary. King of Wands is a good ruler, good leader, not afraid of a fight, not afraid of change. I feel that this is the collective. I feel like whatever the situation is, you were and you are in King of Wands energy, you're a leader. And because of that, because you've done the hard work, because you've done the shadow work, because you've faced your demons and your trauma, you've stepped into that power, and you're due, or you were due, justice. Meanwhile, this other person, Eight of Pentacles in the reverse, Pentacles, Earth, money, finance, non-financial wealth again. Grinding away, getting frustrated. So, upright position, we call this guy the apprentice because he's sat on his bench banging away at the pentacles. He knows he's not master of his skill yet, but he's happy to go through the process. What it feels like is that this person got on board with whatever this collective goal was, but they started to lose a bit of passion, okay? I'm gonna say that's themselves in the Two of Swords. They refused to really see the situation as it really was. You're the King of Wands, you're the leader, right? And you're justice, you're getting justice. They didn't want to go through those steps. They didn't want to go through those steps of mastery. Okay, let's continue. Right, so judgment. Okay, so means internal or external judgment. So this is actually landing on top of the King of Wands. So for me, that's confirmation that you were being judged worthy of more because you'd done all the hard work. Three of Cups, Cups, water emotions, a celebration card. I call it the sisterhood card. It's three ladies dancing around with cups in the air. That could be actual sisters, female friends, friends with high feminine energies. Witchcraft terms, we're talking about coven. Now, my initial thought, and we could be going both ways here, because my initial thought was you were getting the celebration, you were getting the accolades, and then that triggered this person into devil energy. Okay, so devil energy, devil card, talks about either leaning on toxic crutches and vices or being chained to some kind of toxic karmic energy. So I feel like their jealousy was triggered, and that's devil energy. Okay. The other way we can go is that they were approached by a coven and turned to the dark side. Okay. So it could be a little bit of both. Who knows? Let's continue. Right, so King of Swords, swords are where we think words we use, King's masculine energy again. So the King of Swords is how I describe my reading style, blunt, direct, to the point, here to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. I think that you called this person out on that. I think that you called them out on their behaviour. Empress in the reverse. So the Empress in the upright position is what we call the divine feminine. She's like the Queens, but she's combined. She knows her worth and value. She doesn't chase, she attracts. You want this, you come and get it. Now, again, I'm going to say this is a little bit of both, because the Empress in the reverse position, she can talk about toxic feminine energy, not knowing our worth and value, etc., etc. But she can also, because she embodies all the queens, she embodies the Queen of Pentacles, so it can talk about pulling that energy back. So I feel like you said something and then you pulled back that kind of nurturing energy, because I feel like this collective is in their duality and they can swap and change. I also feel like by saying something, I think this person's quite heavily in their toxic masculine energy for them to be lured in by the devil energy there, by the devil card. And I feel like by saying something, it knocked them off their pedestal, okay? Nine of Pentacles in the reverse, Nine's reflection card. So we've got the lady in the garden there looking over the fruits or flowers, finally come to bloom. Before she harvests them at 10, she's looking back all the hard work and effort she's put in. Now, as I was saying, this card, in the upright position, it's about looking back, and it can be when we've achieved something. Sometimes it's about looking back when things have gone wrong and saying, do you know what, I turned up, I showed up, I put the effort in. If they can't see that from sideways, they can watch me rise. When it's in the reverse position, it's when we question, yeah, but is there any more I can do? And that's what I'm going for, but not in a kind of like, oh, is there any more I can do? I feel it's more that this person, by you kind of saying something, you've identified they've gone into devil energy and you've gone, nah, I'm not doing this, thank you very much, cut them off. And rather than them kind of reflecting back and going, do you know what, I've behaved in a bit of a bad way, the jealousy kicked in, I'm a human being. They're going, yeah, but there's got to be something else I can do. And it feels like there's a competitive energy here now. Let's continue. Right, Nine of Swords in the reverse. Swords are where we think words we use. And I feel like, again, this is the collective, so this is you. You're the person in bed, head in the hands, crying. It talks about periods of stress, sleepless nights, or depression. Swords here represents a ladder, so it's talking about changing the mindset, climbing the ladder, getting out of the dodge. So you were upset that this has played out, but you changed the mindset. Seven of Cups, Cups, water, emotions. You're what's normally a shadowy figure there, big cloud out the cloud. Seven Cups, out of every cup there's something different. It talks about an abundance of opportunities on an emotional level. It can talk about manifestations and wish fulfillment. So you did enough. This is confirmation. You might not have those manifestations, etc. yet, but you did enough at that time in the past to unlock that, to activate it, right? Let's continue. Right, so this is the other person. King of Cups in the reverse, Cups, water, emotions, King's masculine energy. King of Cups in the reverse position is an emotional manipulator. Now, I don't think that they've been emotionally manipulating you. I think they've been emotionally manipulating other people around them. Because people like this with jealous energy, they try and pull people in, okay? Ace of Swords in the reverse. So aces are about bringing in new energy, not starting something new. So this is about going on the upright position, right, I need to change my mindset. But they're not doing that, okay? They've dipped into this devil energy and that's now feeding off them. You've got to win. You've got to pull this person down. You're better than them, blah, 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 blah. Now for me, I don't see that I have a competition with anybody. Why? Because nobody reads like me. Nobody does things the way that I do it. People copy me. I don't copy other people. I'm quite happy to admit that if I see a good idea, I will take that. I might adapt it slightly, but I wouldn't pass it off as my own. Okay? Right, overall outcome card. High Priestess in the reverse. So the High Priestess is one of the divine feminines. She's divine feminine on a more spiritual based level. Now she's about balance, duality, Remember, people, love and light doesn't work. Throwing love at situations constantly doesn't work. You've got to step into that dark divine energy. Now it's in the reverse position. Now what it feels like is, because I feel like this is then switched to this other person, I think they've gone dark. I think they've gone dark. They went dark, right? Obstacles or blockages. 8 of Wands, Wands fire action. 8 Wands or stays flying through the air. Generally talks about new opportunities, pick up in pace, etc, etc. I feel during this time the obstacle or blockage for you, because obviously I'm not reading for this other person, was that there was a lot of change going off, and if you didn't kind of keep up with that, you could have got a little bit scuppered. Removing any blockages. 5 of Swords in the reverse. Swords out where we think, words we use. You're the person in the foreground, 2 figures that laid the swords down, walking away. It generally talks about a difference of idea, direction, opinion, etc, and who came out on top. Now, it's in the reverse position. I feel like what you did here was cut communication. You might have blocked this person, just kind of gone, nah, I'm not engaging this anymore. Because the problem is with situations like this, when somebody kind of gets jealous and does you dirty, it's easy to go, well, I'm going to be the bigger person. I'm not going to block them because, you know, that's going to look like they've won then. When the best thing you can do is just come off, because you don't need their content coming up. You don't need their posts and stuff like that, because all it's going to do is trigger you, you know. It's not a case of just rising above it. Some people just trigger you, so cut them off. And I think that's what this collective did. So yeah, whatever the situation is for you, it started off with good intentions. With that Lovers card, I don't feel it. I do feel like that I feel like this person had a dip in enthusiasm for the direction of where things were going, because it feels like this person's very, very impatient. Very impatient. There's a lot of arrogance and ego tied into it, because it's almost like they expect everything to kind of fall in their time scales. You know, if they're a reader, for example, they'd think, well, I'm a great reader. What, you know, why after 5 minutes haven't I got, you know, all these clients? But they're not prepared to put the effort in. Yeah, you're in King of Wands energy. You're a leader, right? And you're getting your justice you deserve. You're supposed to be getting the justice you deserve. And instead of them going, right, well, I'm not, you know, because you've gone through all the steps, you've put in the hard work, you've put in the hours, you've both in, you know, on your self-healing, both in regard to, you know, if you're self-employed, pumping into that. And they didn't want to do it. They wanted a shortcut. They were like, why do I have to do it? Because like I said, there's a lot of arrogance, ego here. You've been judged worthy of more. There is people, well, there was at least people celebrating you, but I do also feel that they were approached, and that dipped them into dark energy. You've said something and then pulled back your energy, okay, pull back your kind of divine feminine energy from them, and rather than just kind of reflecting, kind of going, maybe I've cocked this up here, I'll go in my own direction, and then the twain shall meet. They're going, yeah, but there's got to be more I can do, because they're after your abundance, they're after your position. Unfortunately, they've gone dark. Right, so what's cracking off now? Because I feel like this collective has cut this person off. Like I say, I do think that they're still lingering in your energy, and hence why we're doing this. Hence why we're doing this reading here. So what's going off in the present? Just give them a good shuffle. Right, split them. Oh no. Thus. So, present spread. Some of it will have recently happened, some will be in play now, some might be coming up in about a week or so. Present's always going into the past. So we start off with the Two of Cups. Cups, water, emotions. This is my favourite card. I'm a Taurus, I'm ruled by Venus, I love love. This Divine Counterparts card. I feel like you're either focusing on your love life, you've recently met somebody, or you might, you know, just be kind of in that perfect harmony and balance. That's allowing you to get into the energy of the Fool. So the Fool's the very first card in the tarot deck. The Fool isn't a fool. The Fool is called Fool because he gets his bag. Little bumpy dog at the bottom, goes off wandering. Leap of faith. You're starting a brand new cycle. In the meantime, we've got the Seven of Swords in the reverse. Swords there where we think words we use again. So I'm going to have to go tarot book version of this. Sneaky deceptive behaviour. Now in the upright position it's going off in the background, hence why we've got the figure there looking behind themselves, worried about getting caught out. Reverse position. I feel like that's what it feels like, is that there's sneaky deceptive behaviour and it's starting to be revealed, but I don't know as you're going to see that yet. Probably because you've blocked this person. Okay, let's continue. Right, strength card can mean strength, can mean having too much pride. I feel it's this other person. I feel the pride's they've been caught out in some way. Okay, you might have put something out there that kind of revealed it, but they've been caught out in some way and the pride's kicked in. That's then putting them in the Nine of Cups in the reverse. Okay, so much like the Nine of Pentacles that we had earlier, they're questioning, oh, is there any more I can do to save face? Okay. Sounds like somebody banging at the door. There could be. They'll use the doorbell. Yeah, questioning, is there any more I could do? Page of Wands in the reverse. Pages are more youthful energy, don't have the knowledge or experience of the kings and the queens, don't have the forward motion of the knights, more about giving something a go. This is the other person. This person, they're not wanting to put the effort in, they're not wanting to put the change in. Let's continue. Right, so okay, I'm going to change my mind about that Page of Wands. I think the Page of Wands is someone else or a group around this person who've kind of gone, yeah, we support you, but they're in their page energy. They never, you know, certain people will change their mind and their direction like the wind, and it feels like that's what's happening now. Somebody who's part of this is a Queen of Pentacles in the reverse. So I kind of briefly mentioned her as part of the Empress. I feel like that they've had somebody around them that's been trying to nurture them, and because there's some sneaky deceptive behaviours come to light, that's then being retracted, because it's almost like, well, you've kind of outed yourself, and I can't tarnish my reputation. Three of Swords, heartbreak card. Okay, it can often talk about something from the past because it's swords, not emotions, but I feel like this person is currently feeling like they've been run through, because their efforts to try and stop you and continue to pull you down has revealed something, and now they're losing support, and they're going to feel a little bit like you've done me over here, Queen of Pentacles. Chariot in the reverse. So the Chariot card talks about either the energy around us or questions of should I do it, is the time right. I feel it's energetic, brakes are on, welded on. Okay, this basically, what Source is asking of this person is to face the fact that they've done something wrong. They've gone against you, they've used you and then effed off. They've turned to the dark side and you've had to cut them out. Okay, well, the karma's coming to pay, basically. Right, let's continue. Right, so Star card in the reverse. Okay, Star card, hopes, dreams, aspirations, wishing on a bigger star. This person is going to start realising, if they haven't already, that dream that they had of I'm going to say taking your spotlight, but I feel like this person was so arrogant that they couldn't actually see who you are and the potential within you, because I feel it's like they're looking and they're kind of going, yeah, you know, they're all right what they do, but you know, I'm better. It's that kind of energy, and they're realising they're not going to hit that. They're starting to see you as a Queen of Wands. Queen of Wands is about being in your feminine power, not chasing, attracting, knowing your worth and value. Okay. Eight of Swords, and to back that up, they're releasing themselves. So you've got the lady there, it's going to be a bit odd to see. Bound and blindfolded, arms behind her back, holding onto the rope because she doesn't want to take the blindfold off. This person's being forced to see you as who you really are, right? I do feel like there's been a certain amount of hidden in plain sight going off via source, whereby this person kind of knew that you were talented, knew you had gifts and abilities, knew that you had skills, but they were kind of veiled to that full potential, and it was done on purpose, because for me, at some point, everybody faces a test. Do you dip into that ego? You know, so if we take something as simple as an award, okay, if you win an award, the right thing to do is remain humble, okay. You know, if I won an award, I'm going to have a little bit of dig, I'm going to have a little bit of poke, don't get me wrong, but I'd be humble about it. I wouldn't be like, look at me, I finally won, this is all about me. That's the test, but a lot of people do, you know what I mean? A lot of people fall into that trap, and it's that kind of trap that this person's fallen into. They've chosen their own ego and greed over doing the hard work, paying attention, listening, seeing you as the person that you are, and the leader that you are. Right, 4 of Cups in the reverse. So they're the person under the tree there, staring at the 3 cups, stuck, bored, jaded, fed up. Now there's a cloud hang cup by the side of their head. So it's in the reverse position, so they're still in that stagnant energy of feeling sorry for themselves, but they are starting to go, you know, maybe there are other options and opportunities out there for me. The problem is Ace of Pentacles in the reverse. They're not willing to consider investing in something else. Okay, so case in point, let's say for argument's sake, this person's a psychic, they're a reader, and they try and do you over. They think that they know better, they think that they're better than you, blah 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 blah, and they make the wrong choice and they go dark, and karma then hits, their sneaky deceptive behaviour gets outed. They try and resist it, but their support disappears, and they're left to face the fact that the collective here is a Queen of Wands. Now, their other opportunities should be to walk away, move away, because Source often will take those abilities off that person, because why should they have tapped in psychic abilities if they're just going to use it for their own gain? So really, they ought to be reassessing and kind of going, well, you know, I've got a passion in this area. It's not reading, but I can find a happy life in it. But it's like, no, I have to be a reader. You know what I mean? It's that kind of energy. Let's continue. Right, Temperance. So the Temperance card for me is the alignment card. It's when our mind, body, soul's all in alignment. We know who we are, what we want, where we're going. You'll also notice the Temperance angel there is pouring into her own cup. So it talks about periods of self-love, self-care, self-healing. Hold fire on that one. Queen of Swords in the reverse. So Queen's feminine energy again. Right, so the Queen of Swords in the reverse position. This is either this person or somebody around them. The Queen of Swords is a whisperer. She sends her flying monkeys out, right? Overall outcome card. 4 of Wands, fire action. So we call this the 1111 card, make a wish, okay? So it talks about engagement, marriage, happy home, happy community. The best way I can describe this card is whereby the Magician's the manifestation card, so you're magicking something in. The 4 of Wands is more tangible goals and dreams that you can work towards. Now, again, I'm going to say this is a little bit double-edged, right? Because I feel like that Temperance angel, I think it's a folly card. I feel it's coming from a Queen of Swords. And they're coming in this, oh, don't worry, angel, you come with me, I'll look after you. And this person's being duped into thinking that they can get this happy ever after, whatever they want. The other side of that is I think that you're on track for getting that, right? Obstacles or blockages. 2 of Wands, fire action. It's about making a plan moving forward. So we've got the person there, globe in the hand, surveying the scenery. They know that what they want, they're now making a plan of how to get there. Removing any blockages. 6 of Wands. Right, so I feel like it's not really going to be overly relevant because most of this feels like it's to do with the other person. But I kind of want to tell you to not make any plans at the moment moving forwards, because you might feel like you're out of it, but I feel like you're not quite there yet. So just celebrate the little wins. Let's not make any big plans moving forward. So yeah, what it feels like, you're doing fine. You're doing all right. You're getting on with life. There's some kind of sneaky deceptive behaviour that has or is about to come and be released about this person. They're going to get in their ego about it. They're going to go, yeah, there's got to be something I can do to turn this around. And all the village idiots who've been like, yay, flag waving, go, oh no, we're going to take a step back. And whoever's been nurturing them also takes a step back. They're going to feel like they've been run through. Things are going to stagnate. They're going to realise they're not going to hit their achievements, and they're finally seeing you for who you are, which is a Queen of Wands, okay? They're being asked to go in a new direction, but they're not willing to reassess what they want long term, and then somebody's going to come in this guise of some kind of angel, some kind of saviour, but it's a ruse. I feel it's a ruse. So let's go on to the final spread. I'm going to base this within the next 6 months, and we'll see what's cracking off. And hopefully my battery will last. I'm on the last bar, so let's crack on. Try and go a bit quicker. Right, okay, so 8 of Wands. So this talks about a pick up in pace, new opportunities, fast-paced motion. Knight of Pentacles. So Knight's forward motion. This Knight's about an offer. He's offering the Pentacle. Now Knight's offers are tricky and dodgy. They're a bit dog shit, to be quite honest with you. The problem is that they can look alluring because they're often better than pages. Page of Pentacles in the reverse. Again, this page is about an offer. Okay. This is about what it kind of feels like is, because I feel like this is about this person. All of a sudden they're going to feel like, oh, there's a pick up in pace, new opportunities. They're going to get some kind of offer, but that's kind of hidden behind it. The offer's going to get pulled back at some point, and it's only a page's offer is dressed up as a knight's offer. Right, Page of Swords. So the Page of Swords, if this is you, blue sky thinking outside the box, being more creative and playful. If it's them, Peter Pan type character, okay. Ten of Swords in the reverse. So upright position, body face down, swords in its back. It can talk about being stabbed in the back. It can talk about carrying self-limiting beliefs. It's in the reverse position. That's a release card. We're releasing those swords. So we're going from 10 to ace. Right, long term, how do I change my mindset? How do I change my communication style, etc.? Right, so Knight of Wands in the reverse. So the Knight of Wands is about forward motion, pushing forwards, charging forwards, understanding that we don't have all the knowledge. If it's somebody else, the Knight of Wands is cavalier, the gung-ho, here today, gone tomorrow. Seven of Wands in the reverse, upright position, standing your ground. We've got the chap on top of the hill here fighting off the 6 other wands or staves. Now it's in the reverse position, backing down. This card can sometimes be the fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me card, okay, because we've fallen for something again, okay. I'm not sure if this is you or them at the moment, so just bear with me. Two of Pentacles in the reverse, so it can talk about making a choice, can talk about breaking a karmic cycle, or it can talk about things being a bit chaotic and some plates falling. Right, so Seven of Pentacles in the reverse. So we've got the chap in the garden there looking over the fruits or flowers. Not ready for harvest yet, needs to get to 10. Upright position though, it's going in the right direction, so he's pausing to have a look back at that hard work and effort. Reverse position, things have gone off course. Tower card, fixed card, the awakening card. So we've got the tower there, struck by lightning, it's on fire. It's people jumping out, it's cracking, it's crumbling. Tower cards are always for our long-term good, whether we like what happens or not. 1 time out of 10 they're positive, 9 times out of 10 they're tough and destructive. The idea of a tower card is the universe goes, right, you're in this timeline here, but we need you over here. Something you're not done, said, change, shifted, whack, bitch slap. Get over there now. I feel like this is about the other person, so I feel like it's bang, karma hit him. Knight of Swords in the reverse. So the Knight of Swords in the upright talks about either news coming in fast or expressing ourselves. It's in the reverse position. I'll try and tie this together at the end. I'm just conscious of my battery time, and yeah, it's not the easiest one to read. 6 of Cups in the reverse. So upright position, this is about balance, equal give and take. Reverse position, one party's doing all the giving, one's doing all the taking. 5 of Wands in the reverse. Upright position, this is the fight or fallout card. Okay, I feel like that talks about fight or fallout coming. I feel like this person's giving up on the fight, put it that way. Yeah, I say that. We then got the World card in the reverse. World's last major arcane, as it means big cycle complete. So whereas 10s are ongoing cycles, the World's the end of a big one. Okay. Now, upright position, we understand it's gone full term, it's not going to get any better. Reverse position, holding on to an old cycle. Knight of Cups, Knight's forward motion. Again, this is Knight's about an offer, he's offering the cup, right? Overall outcome card. We'll try and unpick this. 7 of Cups in the reverse. Okay, so shadowy figure, big cloud, out the cloud, 7 cups, out of every cup there's something different. It talks about an abundance of opportunities on an emotional level. It can talk about manifestations and wish fulfillments. It's in the reverse position, that's on hold. Obstacles or blockages. Ace of Wands, Wands fire action. Who am I? What am I? Where am I going? What I want? What do I want? Reassessing things. Removing any blockages. Page of Cups, Cups water emotion, Pages more youthful energy, offer again. Right, so what it feels like is, right, so 8 of Wands, I feel like there's going to be a pick up in pace basically, and there's going to be some kind of offer that comes in, right? I'm not sure if that's for you or them yet, let's work through it. Page of Swords, I feel like the Page of Swords is you, freeing up your thinking, doing the release, reassessing where we're going next. Meanwhile, this person's been put on hold, and they're realising that they've fallen for a bit of a trap, and things are going to become chaotic for them. They're going to start going, I've gone off course here, right? So they're going to be dropped with the Tower. Now, with the Knight of Swords in the reverse there, I think that they're supposed to be coming to you and apologising, but I don't think they're going to do it. 6 of Cups in the reverse, I feel like they're going to start to realise that they're emotionally imbalanced. And what I want to say is that it feels like there's somebody else around them that's going to go, hang on, you're doing all the taking from me. I feel like their karma has something to do with their relationship, and their partner is going to give up on the fight. Now, they're not going to want to end this cycle, so they're going to go in with some Knight's offer, and they're just going to be blocking any opportunities moving forwards. Okay. Right, so I'm going to say the 8 of Wands, I feel like because this person's gone dark, they've taken some kind of offer, they're going to feel like, here we go, everything's going good. And then as part of that, there's going to be some kind of offer from this Knight of Pentacles, but it's dressed up, it's Page's offer dressed up as a knight. I'm going to change my, I think this is all about them. They're then going to get into this Page of Swords energy. This is it. Let's free up the energy. Let's go again. Let's release everything from the past and change our mindset. But when it comes to the crunch, this Knight of Wands ain't going to come forwards. So they're going to end up having to back down. All of a sudden, I feel like there might be some money issues coming in for this person. And then they're going to get hit by a Tower card. They're not going to say anything. Things are going to go out of balance, and I feel like the partner, be it romantic partner, friend, business partner, is going to give up on the fight. They're not going to want to give up on this idea, this dream. You know, so if you use the example before, if they're a reader, they're not, you know, they had their chance, they fucked it. Source is saying you can't be a reader, you're going to have to go and do something else. And then the Knight of Cups, I feel like that's them going towards somebody, either you or somebody new. I think they might try and come back, to be honest with you, because the advice card is don't reassess what you want long term, because it's Page's offer, it's breadcrumbing, and that will just stop your 7. That's going to stop your 7 of Cups abundance. So there you go. Yeah, somebody's due their karma. Somebody's due their karma. So like I say, if you want a personalised reading, you can get it in the sale up until the 18th of January. Fully loaded. We'll unpick your story. Ta-ta.